watching. Bless you, bless you. Think I'm better, I don't trust you. I'm gonna shoot you. Crying in my arms like a wreck you, wreck you. Get your boy and want some more. Yeah, alright. You was right, I was wrong. Yeah, I should've never took her home. Yeah, I should've just, yeah, fantasy on my phone. Yeah, hit it from the back, watching. Bless you, yeah, crying in my arms like a nigga wreck you. Talking about a broken heart, running to the restroom, yeah. Look at my mama chip like we rich, yeah.
Welcome to the Zono Sports Show, where you know, Zonos. I'm so glad to be back, feeling a little bit better this morning. I'm happy about that. Now, speaking of the sports world, one dude in hoops is in the news more than Chris Brown and Soulja Boy, okay? Grayson Allen, the man can't stay clean. Maybe we need to get him in a plastic bubble so he can't get out, get in any trouble. Maybe this young man, it's a cry for help. I'm not sure, but I do know one thing. He's graduated from tripping to shoving. Now, the other night, Duke got cracked over the head with a bottle of Moet against Florida State Tuesday night, and that was a bad loss they suffered. Now, in that game, Grayson Allen, he's going out of bounds, falling. He goes to save a loose ball, flips it back in, and I mean, he pushes the assistant coach of Florida State like they're in the club and they're too close. I mean, it was blatantly obvious that this was a hard, intentional push. Now, I don't know if Grayson Allen, like, it baffles me that he does this because he's not a bad player. You're not a bum, Grayson Allen. Chill out. You don't have to knock people around like we're in the line at the DMV or something. You don't have to do that. You're an exceptional athlete. So just rely on your talents and don't rely on the extracurricular stuff. That's what people who do that people who do that are not good at sports. Whatever it may be, football, basketball, baseball. If you do too much of that cheap stuff, people will begin to perceive you as a bum. So Grayson Allen, if you don't want to be that guy, then just don't do it. Now, the assistant coach of Florida State, he came out and said, hey, leave him alone. This was a great hustle play. And kudos to that coach of Florida State for trying to come to this man's defense, but we can't continue to give Grayson Allen the benefit of the doubt. Play hoop. And why did you get one game in the first place? Now, Coach K, I know you're on bed rest, sir, because of the back, but are you watching? Do you have your eyes open? Do you see this guy? Do you see what Grayson Allen is continuing to do on a consistent basis? All these shenanigans. One game wasn't enough. Should have been 2, 3, 4, maybe a month, but I don't know what's up with Grayson Allen. Hopefully he gets it together. Coach K, get well soon because your Rugrats need you back. And they're going to continue to lose games, Duke will, if Grayson Allen continues to do this stupid crap and can't play, as well as Jeff Capel has to continue running the ship because he's a great coach, did a great job at Oklahoma. But I don't understand why Grayson Allen can't stop doing this stuff. So come back, Coach K. Now, another big story from Tuesday night, Baylor, they were number one for the first time in school history. They lost to West Virginia, a.k.a. Press Virginia, by 21, 89-68. Now, mind you, this was the worst number one debut loss in college basketball history, so that's saying something. West Virginia forced them into 29 turnovers for the game. 15 of those turnovers in the first, 10 or 15 minutes? I mean, I think West Virginia is a championship contender because from what I've seen, when I watch their games this season, they lock people up and throw away the key like the prisoner of Azkaban. So Bob Huggins, continue to coach those boys up and keep that tight D on any opponent that comes into Morgantown. So West Virginia, look out for them in the tournament. Circle them on your bracket. But Baylor, you're a good team, but you got to learn to play on the road a little better this season. I know historically you've been decent on the road, but this season it will matter down the stretch because if you want that number one seed and that easy road to the Final Four, you got to lock it in throughout the year. So losing games this bad is not a good look for that resume, no matter how many games you won to start the season, 15 in a row. Doesn't matter, insignificant. Now, an obvious story in women's college basketball, the UConn women, all they do is win. They've already won 90 straight, tying their previous record that was set by Maya Moore and all those great ladies. Now, they've got 90 straight home victories. Next game is versus SMU, 6-0 all-time against that school. Now, of course, they're probably undefeated all-time against a lot of schools. I mean, they blew South Florida out the other night. I want to say 100-something to 30-something. So these women, they get it done. Gino Auriemma has built a dynasty at UConn. And Sanaya Chung, if you haven't seen her, she's the next star on that team. I really like her. The way she gets to the bucket, the way she scores, the way she plays defense. She can shoot the outside jumper. Sanaya Chung, keep that name in mind. Now, Gino's got the juice. I mean, the man's won 10-plus championships, and he doesn't even want 100 wins. When asked about, hey, what are you going to do when you get to 100 wins? He says, I hope we don't, because then I can just walk off the court, go grab a coffee, and go home. So, Gino, that's a very arrogant thing to say, but maybe he means it. I don't know. UConn women's great basketball program. Now, some sad news that I heard about the other day. Jordan Hankins, a guard for Northwestern who was a sophomore, commits suicide by hanging. Now, the reason I want to bring attention to this, the pressure being a student athlete is real. And the game versus Minnesota was canceled by her school, which was rightfully so canceled. But the pressure of being a student athlete does become somewhat insurmountable when there's so many things going on in an athlete's life, which is why when we look and talk about potentially paying Division I athletes for their time and effort that they give in the classroom as well as on the floor, which generates dollars for the university, it's a serious issue because we don't know what's going on in these individuals' lives. We don't know who died, who's having family issues. So it's very important to keep that in mind that the pressure can be great on this type of level. So sorry for her family, and I definitely hope they get through that. Thoughts and prayers with the Hankins family. Her brother actually came out and said that he would do things now in her honor. So that's good for him. That's good for him taking up for his sister. And in the NBA, Derrick Rose, a.k.a. The No-Show, skips the Pelicans game the other night. Now, after shoot-around, he disappears, goes back to Chicago. Nobody knew where this man was. No one could spot him. No one had heard from him. And evidently he had a family situation in Chicago, so he had to leave and get back home. Now, I can think of two things. Maybe somebody got kidnapped. Now, we know Chicago led the nation in murder rates, murder capital. They call it Chirac. But, I mean, you still got to let your employee know what's going on, D-Rose. You have a contract year coming up, man. So why put yourself in a position to be scrutinized for leaving and not saying anything? Don't be that guy, D-Rose. I mean, you're 28 years old, but ever since we saw those knees get busted up over the past few years, you may be on your last couple shots. So, I mean, granted, this was a bad situation. They ended up finding out from Derrick Rose that he was okay, and the team came out and said that the excuse that he gave them was fine. So they're good with it. So I guess we have to be good with it. However, I can't say that I agree, Derrick Rose. You can't go ghost on your organization and then pop up and say I needed space. You gotta get mentally tougher at this point in your career, D Rose. Be more professional. We want to see you out there. I remember the 08 days in Memphis. I remember MVP Rose. But don't forget, every rose has its thorn. Shout out to Will. Now, this just in, LeBron wants more fouls called. I'm going to call this the 3-ring boo-hoo. LeBron, stop crying, man. I mean, you're LeBron James. Utah is a tough place to play anyway. And you haven't won there since 2010. Kyle Korver played in that game. He played bad. I want to say he was 1 for 5 for field goals in that game. LeBron, you don't even play every night, bro. So how can you complain about all these fouls when you've already won 3 rings and you're trying to win another one? But I think you're turning into a bit of a diva. You know, you talk about how hard you play. I remember when you sat out the game earlier this season, you said, I've paid my dues. I've played in every arena in this nation. Yeah, that's fine. That's dandy. But how about you come out and play every single night? And maybe then the rest will think about giving you every foul call that they see. But other than that, you get enough rest. You can take a little bang, shebang, bang. So I do understand that LeBron, he feels as though he's a superstar, so he should get certain treatment. But keep this in mind, man. Shaq, he got beat up like Hoppo, but played almost 20 years. And Jordan, he got forearms from the Pistons, but then got in the weight room. So take notes from the greats, LeBron. And when you are a physical specimen such as yourself, these things will happen, sir. Now, I'm really anxious this weekend to see these NFL playoff games because We've got a few good matchups, a few rematches from the regular season. Actually, I think all of these games are rematches from the regular season. Seahawks versus Falcons. The Seahawks won the first matchup. Controversial pass interference penalty against that wasn't called against Richard Sherman. So I do think the Falcons have something to prove. Russell Wilson's got to go down there to Atlanta where Future will be there, and they may have that place rocking in the dome with a little bit of, hey, John Metro, I don't trust you, I'm going to use you. So, Russell, get ready. Don't take Sierra because Future will be there, and he will be running his mouth cheering for those dirty birds. But I do think the Falcons win this game against the Seahawks. Texans versus Patriots, Thursday night blowout. That was against Jacoby Brissett earlier this season on Thursday Night Football. So I really don't think the Texans have much of a shot again in Foxborough against number 12, Tom Brady. If you couldn't do it against Jacoby Brissett, I don't think you can do it against Tom Brady, just to be frankly honest. Now, Patriots obviously will win that game. Now, Packers versus Cowboys, rematch for Raj. 7 straight wins by Green Bay. Rookie running back, rookie quarterback. Now, the Elias Sports Bureau came out and said that no rookie running back and rookie quarterback or rookie player, period, that led their team in rushing or passing has won a playoff game. So that's a neat little fact. So I'm curious to see if Rodgers' hot Green Bay Packers can come in there and take on the Cowboys and upset them in Dallas, in Jerry World. Because this has been a great season, but when Aaron Rodgers is hot, he's hot. This reminds me a little bit of that 2010 season. No, not like last year. Jordy Nelson may be banged up, but can the Packers do it? I definitely think the Cowboys pull this out, but the Packers could. They could. Watch that game. Steelers versus Chiefs. Big Ben's in the boot, but he's going to get out of it. He'll play Sunday no matter what. Now, Le'Veon Bell thinks he's the chef. He thinks he's the chef of football. He says he's on Steph Curry's level. He's doing what Steph Curry did, changing the game because he's not the conventional runner, and he's more patient in the hole and make sure that he lets the play develop in front of him. Le'Veon Bell, you ain't chef. Chill out. You're doing something different running the ball, but let's get a little bit more tape on you, okay? We've got enough. You've gotten hurt the past few years, but let's get a little bit more. Don't come out and compare yourself to Chef because Chef's got people shooting from the garage all the way to the kitchen. So before you get on that level, you got to do a little bit more, Le'Veon. But Steelers will win this game against the Chiefs. Now, sad news for San Diego fans. Chargers, they're going to L.A. So, I mean, sorry for San Diego. They were there for 56 years, but it's time to move on. And the last time LA had 2 teams was the Raiders and the Rams. So now they got the bum Rams and the OK Chargers. Next show, all we got to do is rap about what happened when I was away. So make sure you tune in to Zonos Sports. And thank you for watching Where You Know Zonos.